I met Fat Joe, I think, twice, and he's always showed me mad love. He knows my history. He know I used to be a teacher, come from the streets of New Orleans, and now he see what I'm doing in the rap game. With that being said, though, I need Fat Joe to to do better, man, when it comes to a statement like that. Like, we need our OGs to do better in hip hop. And what Fat Joe did was he used street logic when he made that statement. And there's a difference between street logic and godly principles. Street logic will tell you, oh yeah, robbing, like I used to rob people. That's just part of the street life. The second that we start to accept something as this is just a part of what comes along with life in our community, then instantly we won't be able to change it because we've stopped fighting. And to hear Fat Joe make a statement like that, it just sounds like, yeah, I'm accepting that. That's just a part of what comes along with it. We need leaders and OGs who are going to be bold enough to dream big, to see a reality that doesn't exist now, but to know that they can lead the way to help us get there. And that's how I choose to live my life, Fat Joe specifically, since we're talking about him, I guarantee you he says he believes in God. So if you believe in God, then it doesn't say anything in the Bible about street logic. There's godly principles in the Bible that we can clearly look at and refer to when we need to understand how to go about living our lives. But all this street logic, all this, people more worried about adhering to the G code than the 10 Commandments. That's a problem. I am the Nas hip hop fellow up here at Harvard University, and I'm basically studying the impact that hip hop music has on the Black community, and if it's having a positive or a negative impact, and getting to the juice of what we need to do to change the course of where our community is headed. Studying how influential it is inside Black culture, how many Black youth are listening to hip hop, what's their relationship with hip hop, what's their relationship with the other influences in their life. So how much time are they spending with hip hop as opposed to time they're spending with books or with parents or, playing sports. And then from there, it's saying, well, since you're spending this much time with hip hop, what's inside that hip hop? Let's listen to the lyrical content. Let's listen to the themes and the messages that are constantly being put out there. And when you draw a correlation between what people are listening to and what is going on inside of our communities, for example, my city, New Orleans, being deemed the murder capital of the nation as of today in 2022, you have to ask yourself, what role does hip hop play in that? And I already know the answer. I mean, I'm just going more in depth by being up here at Harvard University and doing a fellowship, but I know the answer already. We were born into oppression. So hip hop is not the culprit. It's not the cause of this, but it is definitely an amplification tool. When you think about the oppression that exists inside our communities, we have to ask ourselves, do we want to escalate that oppression and further participate in that oppression? Or do we want to try to fight against it? Hip hop is a weapon and it has potential to be used to fight against this oppression, or it's a weapon that we can use to further escalate the oppression that's persistent in our communities. And in New Orleans, I believe that, just to be real with you, we got what we wanted, bro. So many people in the streets of New Orleans are gonna be able to relate to this. There's something about being like, nah, man, we the hardest. We the most grimy hood. We the most grimy city. Ain't nobody more street. Ain't nobody more gangster than New Orleans. It's something about being able to say that a lot of us have prided ourselves on throughout our lives. Like, yeah, like New Orleans, we the realest, and we associate real with we ain't afraid to kill, So we got what we want in New Orleans, you know what I mean? Now my question is, now what? Now what? Now that you can officially say, hey, we the murder capital again, there you go. We the realest, we the hardest, we the most gangster. Now what? Now we gotta live in this. As soon as somebody's like, well, it's freedom of speech. As soon as we continue to make excuses for this, all we're doing is misusing this weapon that's called hip hop.